Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Fly My PPG, offering a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and limited class sizes. Florida Flight Sports, year-round training at your truck training headquarters. You can do this. PPG lights make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. PPG Zone, one stop for everything you want to know about the paramotor scene, where fly-ins are happening, and so much more. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotor equipment. Fly PPG Discovered Power Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. Wisconsin Flight Sports, they make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. Charlie Soap, an all-natural laundry detergent and household cleaner, are like no other. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com, sharing their passion for flight on adventures around the world. Skylab Paramotor SIB, teaching paramotor pilots of all skill levels collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. True North Paramotors are American-made, lightweight, cutting-edge, fully customizable paramotor frames, complete units, wings, and accessories. Check out their website today. Blackhawk Paramotors USA's mission is to produce the safest, most powerful, and most reliable powered paragliding equipment in the world. Paraswag USA, your complete powered paragliding gear source. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding training on your equipment or on theirs for prices as low as $2,500. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind glider with one or multiple colors. Visit the Our Paramotor Nation website. Check out the upcoming shows, the past shows, and all of its sponsors. And now, let's get started with this episode of Our Paramotor Nation.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Our Paramotor Nation. Hope everybody had a good week. My name is David Wolf, and tonight we have a different show tonight because we have someone who is not an active paramotor pilot. Michelle Burns from Dreamers Paradigm is going to be joining us here in just a moment. She's going to be talking about how to make your goals come to fruition. That's what she does for a living. So, you kind of think about this. This is only for people who have never flown paramotors? No. I mean, we all have goals of what we want to do to aspire to become better pilots, safer pilots, maybe acro pilots. Who knows? We'll talk about that here in just a moment. I want to talk about what's coming up here in the next few weeks. Next week, we're going to talk about safety and incidents. There's been a lot of incidents, unfortunately, over the last year. Last 6 months, especially. I had an incident to a very, very close friend of mine. It actually happened last Saturday night, right in my driveway. Many of you will remember that I asked you if you're a type of person that prays, to pray for my buddy Jason, who went into surgery, came out of surgery, and came home the next day. I'm not going to go through the whole story right now. We're going to talk about the whole story in detail and Jason's progression in paramotoring, a very short one. But he is no longer going to be paramotoring. Unfortunately, he did have an accident, but he's in great spirits. Here's a picture from yesterday of Jason and myself, and you notice right there he's lost 2 fingers in a prop accident. And it should really give us all just a sense of pause. I will tell you right now, as far as going through checklists, I have been very, very poor about going through checklists on a personal level, and that's why probably in the next couple of days here, Jeff Goyne has given me permission to go ahead and take all the checklists, the pre-flight checklist, the pre-landing checklist, the post-checklist, flight checklist, and we're going to be posting them onto our Paramotor Nation so that everybody can download them, have a copy of them, use them as often as possible. We're going to go through all that next week. The following week after that, Blaze Brogan from the UK. He has a YouTube channel called Blazing Sky. He's an awesome paramotor and paragliding pilot. He's going to be joining us on, what does that mean? I think that's the 23rd. That sounds right. John, is that the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd. And there he is, John Ripa. Hi, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. You flew today? You flew a lot this weekend, didn't you?
I flew a lot this week. Yeah, weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right. You getting packed up? I know some people have already made their way to the Moonshiners Fly-In. And there are a lot of people like you and myself. We're going to be going there in a couple days. You getting yourself packed up already?
Oh yeah, I'm just about gonna pull the trailer out tomorrow, load it up, and I'm ready to
Nice.
get out of here Wednesday morning. I'm gonna go stop by Todd Falstead's neighborhood,
All right.
and then make my way up to Moonshiners.
Very cool. And for anybody that has been traveling back from Oshkosh, please be very safe. We want everybody to get home safely. I know some people are going straight from Oshkosh over to Moonshiners, which is wow, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. John, we're gonna be talking to Michelle here in just a second.
Hello,
Um,
Michelle.
but she's not on yet. You
Oh
know,
well.
she's still in the green room. She'll be on here in a second. All right. Some people take longer. She had M&Ms and she's still enjoying her. I don't remember what color she asked her. Anyhow, though, let's talk about this, John. You know, everybody has goals when they first see a paramotor, whether it's on video or see someone flying on the street, and they want to get in. You know, the first question. What are some of the questions people ask? They ask about, you know, how high can that thing go? How fast can that thing go? Right?
What happens if the motor shuts off?
Right. What happens the most? But and then as soon as they figure, I think I want to do this. What's the very first question everyone asks? I didn't prepare, by the way, John, for any of these questions I'm at. I just told them I'm going to put you on the spot.
Where can I get training?
Where can I get training? More importantly, how
How do I
much?
achieve these goals?
How much?
Oh, how much?
How much? That's
Yes.
right, John. How much does it cost to get into paramotoring?
That's right.
That's right. That was the right answer. And so let me ask you this question, John. You drive a truck regularly every day, right?
Pick 'em up truck.
A
Yes.
pick 'em up truck. You pick 'em up left and right. You see her, you pick 'em up. Anyways, you have another form of transportation that's ground based. What is it? Most people don't know this about you.
My motorcycle.
That's right. You're asking me. No, I asked you. Yeah, your motorcycle. Now let me ask you. Let's say I
I
want
thought you were gonna ask me about my scooter.
Oh, no, no. I wouldn't embarrass you about that little girly man
Okay.
scooter that you have. You're not really bringing that up to the flying, are you?
No.
Okay, good. Thank God. Anyways, Michelle, we're getting to you in a second. Don't go. She's still in the green room. So, John, I never had a motorcycle. How much does a motorcycle cost? If not just the motorcycle itself, the helmet, all the other stuff that you need. How much do you think I would spend if I was going into get a motorcycle?
25, 30,000 if you wanted a nice one.
And how much is a paramotor? With training. With training.
12, 15,000.
Yeah, about 12 to 15,000. So how do I go, oh my gosh, not only do I have to convince my spouse that I want to do this, but also I have to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to come up with the funds for that. How does one do that? John, don't answer that because we have Michelle Burns here from Dreamers Paradigm. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, I am good. How are you?
Good. So
Welcome, Michelle.
you're going to help all these new pilots or these future pilots to figure out how do I go about making this goal of mine to get X number of funds, go through training and learning how to fly. You're gonna help us with that tonight, amongst other things as well, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about my steps and what I've been doing to make this goal of mine a reality.
Yeah. So, and you think about this for a second. This is like no show we have ever done because we don't have an expert on paramotoring, but Michelle is very actively. That's one of her big goals, and she's got a. She's gonna explain to you what she has on Facebook, her social media, what she does. She just announced this the other day to her following. So Michelle, I'm gonna let you take a few moments, if you can. First of all, tell us about what the Dreamers Paradigm is, what you do with that, and then I'm gonna ask you more about how you found out about paramotoring. So why don't you give us your background a little bit about that?
Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. And when David called me about this, I was like, holy crap, we got to do this. But my name is Michelle. I'm a goal strategy and accountability coach, and I have my business called the Dreamers Paradigm. And inside of the Dreamers Paradigm, I teach lost and overwhelmed dreamers and visionaries how to get unstuck and make a plan, how to do the things that they want to do, whether that's a big fat dream that they've got, a vision, or even an idea, or just get unstuck with whatever it is that they want to do. So I teach all of that, how to do all of that through goal setting strategies. Goals are my jam and I love it. And I've been setting goals for about 2.5 years now, so pretty good at it.
There you go. So, paramotoring. How do you had a friend who's got a father that's a very well-known paramotor pilot. Talk about that.
Oh yeah. So everybody. My best friend's dad. So my best friend's Sarah, and her dad is David Purden. So I know so many people know David,
Yes.
and I've known him for ever since I've known Sarah, which has been about 6, 7 years now. And she would always talk about, well, my dad flies and this and that, and I never knew what on earth it was. And she'd tell me it's paramotors, and I was like, I still don't know what that is. But there was one day that David offered to take me for a flight, and it was crazy. It was the coolest thing I've ever experienced, and like it was so much fun. But I ain't gonna lie, he never explained to me that you can just go to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
But he did, gave me my first flight ever, and that was like the coolest thing ever. But at that time, didn't know that I could just go do it, you know? So that was my first flight I ever had of paramotors was
What
David
what
Purden's.
was your first impression? And it's so funny, John, to hear her calling him David. You know they're close when you call him David because I've always known him as Dave. Everybody always calls him Dave. So, but what was
Yeah.
your first impression of that first flight with Dave or David?
Well, Mr.
At
Purden.
first,
What's that?
at first I was terrified because at first I was terrified. I mean, we were just getting strapped in this little tiny thing, and I didn't know what to expect. Had no idea what on earth I was getting myself into. But once we got up in the air, it was the coolest thing ever. I've never really experienced anything like that. I mean, I've never even flown anything other than like Cessna planes, but like anything bigger than that or like smaller, never. Never.
Okay.
And I've always seen people flying around in them things, but like I never knew what they were.
Mm. Now I'm going to read just two comments, and if you have any questions for Michelle, please make sure you ask them as it says at the bottom there. Just put my name in the front so I can see it and spot it. But I have to say this, and you've got a tall order on this one. Mr. Dana writes, "My goal is to be like Ripa." I don't know how you're going to be able to make that goal possible, but Mr. Dana 54 wants to be like Ripa. There's another comment I just saw here. This is from JP Tulo. And JP Tulo says, I did a wingtip bump with Michelle at the Purden Fly-In last year. She was doing a tandem with Chris Holbert. What? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So this was last September actually. And Sarah, which is Dave's daughter, was just telling me, kept telling, hey, we're going to go to my dad's fly-in. I was like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And I went, and we got there just chilling. Everybody was flying, and we decided to walk down and just see what was all there, what was going on. And this is still like I've never been around that many paramotor pilots in my life. I've
Mhm.
never nothing of this matter. I've never been. That was my first fly-in I've ever been to, and I just remember this guy swooping down, and he was running, and like he was going like this with his arm. And I look over, I'm like, what's going on? And Sarah was like, I think he wants, and Chris, that was Chris,
Mhm.
and he was running with a balloon in his hand that he had caught while he was flying. And what's blew my mind about this is always so September, my birthday month, and it's always Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
So, and the balloon that he caught just so happened to say happy birthday on it. And as he was still running, and like I think he kind of stopped, I can't remember, but I was like, dude, it's my birthday. And he was like, nah, but of course, like he took back off and kept flying. But I
Okay.
was like, what? It was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, how did that happen? It's my birthday weekend, and this dude catches a balloon in the sky that says happy birthday on
Yeah.
it.
Very cool. All right.
I kind
So
of
and I know you've talked to Chris about this too, about doing some training, and of course you can. I know Dave is now a certified instructor, right? John, is that right? Yeah, yeah. Dave has become a certified instructor. I think he did some work over at Midwest recently, Midwest Powered Paraglider. Um, but you just made this announcement that you are ready to set this goal to become a paramotor pilot. So walk us through how one, and we're gonna use John as an example here too. We're gonna help John achieve a goal as well tonight. Okay. Um,
forgot
what's that?
Chris. When after Chris had found out that that was the whole scenario, he offered to take me up tandem, and that's how I met Chris initially. He took me up, and that's when I found out he was an instructor, and I
Hmm.
was like, I gotta get on in this.
I gotta
I
guess. I gotta guess that flying a tandem with Chris Holbert might be a little bit different than flying with Dave Purden. Is that true?
Yeah, so when he offered, he said, "I'll take you up tandem." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's go." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll go get everything ready." And he comes back and goes, "We're ready." No, this man straps me into a harness.
Yeah.
We foot launched. We didn't do no trike wheel things. No, we did the foot launch. And that, I honestly think if it wouldn't have been for him doing that type of foot launch, like that experience alone is what was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do this, because that was the most freeing and like adventurous, exciting thing that I've ever done. And anybody that knows me personally is they know that I'm all about just adventure and doing really cool stuff. And I'm just like, but that flight, it did it. I was like, I have to figure out how to
Hmm.
do this.
All right. So walk us through that. How have you now figured out that you are going to learn how to fly a paramotor and eventually get your own gear?
Yeah, so for me, with me just setting goals in general, like what you said at the beginning of the show, that was my first question. How much does this stuff cost? And for me, the price kind of shocked me. I didn't think, because that is like, it's a good price point, but I was like, okay,
It
all
shocked
right.
me too. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, because in my head, I was like, it can't be that much. And then when I heard, I was like, oh my goodness. And I think a lot of the times with people that's got goals or dreams or anything, they let the price kind of like stop them. But something that I always tell everybody, if it's something that you really, really want, like any goal, one of the biggest tips I can always say, decipher if it's between a goal that you really want in life, is there an emotional connection that you have to it? Now, I have goals that can make me cry. Then I've got like become a paramotor pilot. That goal just makes me so darn excited and like, ooh, it just gets me going, and I'm really stoked about it. But for me, the first thing was like, okay, how much does this cost? Right, that was my first thing, and I knew nothing about paramotor, nothing, knew nothing. And then ever since last September, I've been all over YouTube, just being like, oh, how can I learn more about the sport? And of course, I had that connection with Chris, so I bombarded him with tons of questions because I was like, what in the world do I have to do? So for me, it was the price, and I had to, get over that and be like, okay, well,
Hmm.
I can chunk it down. Anything with goals, you got to chunk it down. And I was like, okay, chunk it down. First step, I got that. I got an instructor locked and loaded, which
Right.
is super epic. But for me, when it came to the money, and I was like, okay, how can I do that? And for me, I was like, okay, open up a savings account every month, put back this. Or if you've got a job, every paycheck, put back so much, and just like, how much does training cost, and then get into that and then go from there? Or do you want to save the entire training cost and then the price of the equipment? So once you get trained, you can just buy your equipment. It really depends on person to person. For me, I'm like, I want to take care of training. I want to have that saved, and then I'm going to work my way from there. Because, like, I've talked to Chris. You can buy used, you can get new, however that is. But with any goal, you have to kind of reverse engineer it. A lot of the times, what I experience, even within myself, and what took me so long to really get my dreams and things in action, was I would get overwhelmed by the big picture. The big picture is like, oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to do this. I want to build my own house. Whatever it is, we see the big picture, but that missing link is the steps in between on how to get there. Or people get really discouraged by, oh, this is going to take me a lot longer. I had originally planned to like be a pilot this year, but I then chose I'm going to invest in my business this year
Hmm.
instead, and I'm going to focus on the fun and play next year.
Well, that's a good point right there because life gets in the way sometimes, and you can stick a couple $100 from each paycheck into the bank, but then life comes up, and it's, oh, I gotta take care of this. Oh, I gotta take care of that. I mean, how do you handle that and still stay focused on the end goal?
Yeah, and I think that's a really big thing that people come across with their goals and like things that they're going is like, and I've done this. I'm not perfect. I lose motivation sometimes. But for me, that's the number one thing. Have an emotional connection to your goals. What's that emotional connection? Because this year, I know he's messaged me multiple times saying,
Hmm.
hey, I've got this spot for training and that. And I'm just like, okay, I want to do this so bad this year. And I think way earlier this year when I had originally planned on jumping in, I was like, man, life kind of just hit me in the face. And I had just life things happen. And I was like, okay, does this suck sometimes to like put this goal off for this thing that you really want to do? Yeah, it does. But in the long term, it's like, do you really want it? Do you really want it? And for me, it was like, yeah, I want it. And as a coach and a mindset coach as well, like I teach ways to keep our motivation going. And while life kind of like hands us these lemons sometimes, and a lot of the times I teach a lot of my clients to use vision boards. So I have so many pictures
You know,
of
that's
like,
weird that you say that, Michelle, because I wanted something once really bad and I put a picture of it on my refrigerator and I looked at that picture every day. It was a Harley Davidson way back in the early 90s. And every day I looked at that picture and you know what? One day it just happened, you know?
Hmm.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's the one of the another thing about goals is when you have a goal or something in mind that you really want to do, you need to remind your mind that this is what you're focusing on. We need to wire, it's like we have our conscious thinking mind and our subconscious mind. And if we have to get it into our subconscious mind, and once that starts happening, and I can get really into like the wooey aspect of like attracting things into your life, but whatever your subconscious mind believes is what you're going to start attracting. So when it comes to a goal, especially if you don't believe you're capable of achieving this goal, that's a whole mindset thing that comes in. And that's when I'm like, okay, we need this, this, and this to overcome these limiting beliefs that can hold us back from hitting these goals.
I have a question for you, but before I ask that, though, I want to say thank you to our friend James Sutherland, Charlie Soap, who is a sponsor of the show. Jimmy, I can't wait to see you this week. He just donated $5 in the super chat. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. Michelle, from remembering everything I taught about goal setting and learned about goal setting, it's not just, hey, having a goal or putting, I love that, John, that you said that because I used to have a picture board of things in my life that I wanted to achieve, but having a set time frame and a deadline. How do you go about setting that deadline, not knowing that life's going to happen or when the funds will be available? Have you set a deadline of when you're going to start your training?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. So initially last year, after I had that flight with Chris and I was talking with him on and off, like I just had random questions and I was like, yeah, when do you start training again? And he said in March. And I was like, I will be there. And I was dead set. I'm going to do there because what I do is it just kind of depends on what the goal is, but a lot of the times I like to set my goals in quarters, which is every 3 months. There's 4 quarters in the year, and that's how I track my goals. And a lot of the times, so this whole year, I've had that same goal of either put the money back or just become a paramotor pilot. It's either one, and
Mhm.
I just work on it throughout the year. And I've broken it down chunk by chunk throughout each quarter essentially. But when life pops up and I had to really reassess, I was like, okay, do I really spend the money on this training right now? Or do I focus on my business?
Mm.
And at that point, I was like, for me, I am very passionate about what I do and helping people like get unstuck and just do what they want to do with their life and get it into motion. And I'm so passionate about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my business first. And
John,
life does
John,
happen.
John,
Something
John.
Yes, sir.
I think she made the wrong choice.
Why is that?
I
What
know,
she
dang it.
she's saying she put the money towards her business and not flying. I think she made the wrong choice.
Business before pleasure.
No. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Michelle. Go ahead.
Oh, good. No, I like literally, I think it was like I was either gonna jump in and then like literally kind of something just happened with life and I was like, yeah, okay, okay, I gotta keep doing it. So it's just like every quarter I reassess. I have a whole thing that I go through at the end of every quarter of like, okay, what were my goals this quarter and like what was working, what do I still want to do? And it's like every 3 months, it's still like, okay, still continue to work on this thing. And it's always like that's something that I always tell my clients is if it's something that you really want to do, focus on ways, littler, like smaller steps that you can do throughout that time.
Mm.
Because usually I tell everybody set your goals every 13 weeks, and that's because every 13 weeks that old Michelle used to be I used to procrastinate very badly. And usually, like, it's the same goal. Like, when people say, at the end of every year, or their New Year's resolutions. They'll say, I want to lose weight this year. It's not specific enough. They didn't give like how much weight they want to lose, why, and a date. And what happens is then at the very tail end of the year, they'll be, oh, I need to get into the gym and I need to do this. Or then they're all disappointed because they didn't do what they said that they were going to do New Year's. So I always say give a deadline to your goals, no matter what they are. And at the end of that deadline, I go through this whole um, reflection process of like just asking myself what worked, what didn't work, and how can I do better within the next month or this next quarter of how I can hit this goal. Because life happens,
Mm-hmm.
things happen, and it's okay. It's just a matter of like, do I still want this goal to happen or not?
Yeah.
And there's
Well,
this
let me
whole
ask you,
process I go through.
having you here gives us a whole new perspective from any other guests, because usually our guests are people who have been flying for a while, and a lot of times they're instructors themselves. And here's someone that hasn't really had her first solo flight. She's had two flights, but no solo flight yet. So most of this goal, this what you need to attain, really all from what we're hearing so far, just revolves around the money, right? What are you doing, if anything, to get yourself prepared for when you train? Besides the obvious of watching Ripman riding videos on YouTube, where you can learn a ton of information. Besides that, what else are you doing to get yourself prepared?
I think it's a whole mindset thing too, because for me in my mind, I'm like, man, this is something really scary. Like flying, there's always risks with it and all of that too. And I think it's essentially for me, once I get into it, I'm a very go with the flow type person as well. So it's going to be trusting my instructor big time, because it's just like, I don't know the first thing about a whole lot of paramotor stuff, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like once I get into it, it's of course, okay, it's getting into training, getting that first solo flight, and then what's from there as a new pilot?
Okay.
What do you do from there?
There.
Do you buy your own equipment? And usually that's what I hear most people do
Yeah.
is they get their own equipment, and then it's the learning still the ropes of everything and being safe with it. And I think in the beginning it's going to be gaining that confidence in the sky too.
Yeah.
Um,
Great thing about Chris and training with Chris. I met a young lady and I was helping her class with kiting when I went out there one day. And then I saw the same young lady in the spring and she was flying, but she was using Chris's equipment. So Chris will let you come back and use his equipment until he's great like that until you can afford to get uh, the funds that you need. Now there was a question and I think it was retracted. I don't know why. Slow Days did throw a question up there saying, "Hey, look, I got the money and I'm ready to buy whatever it is. Maybe it's new equipment, maybe it's a new glider, but something just came up. What do I do?"
in that instance, I mean, if you've got the money on hand, keep that money. I mean, it's essentially of whatever what popped up, what was the situation essentially,
Hmm. Yeah,
and how can you best navigate that situation without it completely like derailing you from buying these new gliders or whatever it is. Um, it depends on the situation.
yeah, you're totally right. It's a tough question because it's really that person's priority. My daughter just showed up next to me, so for everybody that is active in the chat, she's now she's making noise with her bag of popcorn over there. But she's gonna be putting everybody's name in the chat. We'll give something away near the end of the show. Um, John, hello, John
David, she
Ripa.
hasn't been there all this time.
No, she doesn't get paid until
Is she
9:30.
gonna
She
is
see
she gonna be go back and get all the names that were
Yeah, say hi,
in the
Addison.
chat
Addison,
earlier?
see Addison's over there. Wave.
Hi, Addie.
There you go. So she's going all the way back. She's gonna get everybody's name. So bombard her. Just
Good.
say hi, Addison, in the chat, and she'll make sure she got your name in there. All right. So I gotta scoot over now. The camera moved. So John, okay, look, John, you've had some goals, right? I know you've had a big announcement last week. You can go ahead and share that announcement, and that might have been a goal of yours. So I'd like to know two things, John. How have you accomplished a goal in paramotoring? What goal did you have, and how did you go about accomplishing it? And what's your next goal that Michelle can help you set up to achieve?
Well, let's start out with my next goal because my other goals, well, I've got those all taken care of. So my next goal is I want to get into pylon racing. So I want to do some slalom, and yeah, I want to take it to the next level.
All right, Michelle. How does this 63-year-old man, he's not quite that old. How does it look at that figure? Oh my goodness. How does this gentleman go into saying, okay, this is the next step in my progression. I'm going to push myself more and more. How does he go about setting up goals to do that?
Yeah, that's an awesome goal because I've seen videos of that and I always think it's really cool. But for me, especially, remember everybody, I'm not a paramotor expert, I'm a goal expert. But especially with pylons, is it like, do you need to go get training for it? Do you need to find somebody really specific in that area that can specifically teach you all of those? Is it like, do you have to have a certain glider? Now that I don't know, but like, do you need to buy pylons yourself and just practice? Like, where, because that's where we get hung up on our goals, is like we have the end result in mind, right? We've got the big picture, end result, the goal, what we want to do, but it's like we get lost in the reverse engineering it. Start at the bottom. What's the very first thing that you need to do that's available to you? Is it people, opportunities, resources, books that
People,
you need?
opportunities, books, all that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like starting from the bottom, essentially. It's always that reverse engineering it is starting from the very bottom. Like, do you need an instructor?
Sure. I mean, heck yeah.
So many times a week? Or, I know paramotoring is very weather dependent, but when can you go practice? Can you set aside specific amount of time, so many times a week or a month, to go practice
Mhm.
so you can get into the racing? um, what habits can you create? Is it sitting down and reading it? Is it sitting down and watching videos? Is it asking more questions? How can you get more involved in that specific thing? There's so many different questions that
Well,
you
when
can
you
go
put all that
into.
stuff out there, you really kind of have to look at it from all those different avenues because, I mean, there's so much involved. I mean, yeah, it's a goal. I want to do it, but you're right. You know, how much time can I devote to it? You know, I still have to work a job. You know, I
Yeah.
got a home life. I have other stuff going on. Who can help me with it? You know, where am I going to get the pilot? All that stuff is a lot to consider. But like I got my goal was to paramotor. I figured that out. So we'll definitely figure this one out.
John, you and I have had a lot of heavy conversations about accidents lately in our community in the last 6+ months. And I know it's something that's been really weighing heavy on the both of us. And when I hear like what was just said by Michelle and how much thought that goes into it, do you think a lot of times us as paramotor pilots, I don't want to say the word winging it because it sounds like I'm making a
I,
joke, but I'm being very serious when I say, are we just going out there and doing it? I mean,
I,
did we rush into SIV? I know,
I
go ahead and answer.
think we're nutty. I think we're nuts. We're all nuts doing this, and I think we don't think about it. Some people do. I definitely know those type of people. You know, they might think about all the things that it takes to get yourself up in the air and get yourself up in the air safely. But there's a lot of us that just wing it, as
Yeah.
you were going to say.
Michelle, Craig Taylor says Michelle brings up new perspective to how to approach PPG because I think we are rushing into a lot. I think we rush into every launch. I know I do. And especially after what happened last week to my buddy Jason, everything is slowed down for me. Everything is slowing down so fast for me right now.
Same for me. I said, you know what? I made it this far. I want to be in it for the long
Yeah.
term. I'm slowing it down.
Do you think when we set a goal, me, you, and Dave, to go out to Skylab, did we do it too fast? Did we really think it through? I mean, we were successful. I think
I'll
we were
tell you what,
successful.
I would have never done that if you two knuckleheads weren't there.
Yeah.
So I think it was way too fast for me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
So
Michelle, what with the Dreamers paradigm? Let's talk a little bit about that because I'm really excited to bring this opportunity to the audience of our Paramotor Nation because I think there's a lot of people out there. It doesn't have to be paramotor related. It could be life. It could be business. What are some of the people, the clients that you have? Um, what are some of the things that they bring to you that say these are my goals? You know, whether it's life related, whether it's relationship related or business related, and tell us also about the process. How much would it cost to have sessions with you, and is it a weekly session? Is it a monthly session? Is it yearly? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love that question. Like the sitting here thinking about what my clients come to me for, like gets me all excited because I love them. But I think the biggest thing is they come to me with such a multitude of different random things. I think earlier this year, a client was like, I want to do a garden, but it overwhelms me because I don't know the first thing about gardens and like how to do that. I've got somebody that's working with me right now. She's really into like dance competitions, and she was overwhelmed with a dance competition that's coming up, and like said she's like I don't know how to create a plan or like a schedule to like sit my not sit my butt down, but like create a schedule, a habit of practicing at least a few times a week to get myself ready for this competition. And I think a lot of my clients, especially, they come from that New Year's. I hate saying New Year's
Yeah.
resolutions. The majority of people don't follow through with them, and the reason why is they don't know how to make the plan. They don't know how. They don't know how to take this big idea and break it down in a smaller, bite-sized pieces. And I always like to use this analogy of imagine having a lollipop, a big old lollipop that's as big as your head. That's the goal, that's your dream or the vision that you've got in mind. You can't fit that darn thing in your mouth, sorry. But what I like to do is we take the lollipop, we take a hammer to it, and we bust it down into smaller pieces so you can pick it up and understand what it is that you're doing and do it with ease, because that was like the biggest thing for me. But I have clients right now, they have so many different goals, and a lot of my clients are like me. They have so many different things that they want to do, and they're overwhelmed with, okay, where do I start? What goal can I start with, like right now? And like, what can I start doing now that can help me reach a goal in a year or two? I have a new client right now. She's a burlesque dancer, and she's wanting to do all this.
Whoa.
And I've got another client. Yeah, I've got another client that's very into writing screenplays. And it's just like it's the simplicity of just breaking them down and making it not so overwhelmed. I've had so many people come to me and they're like, "Look, I feel lost. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. This is what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it in smaller steps." And I'm like, "That's what I do." But yeah, I've
Mm.
had my business for over a year now. Working with me, basically, you can send me a message. I have multiple different things and ways that you can work with me. I've only got 3 spots left for the remainder of the year to work with me, like one-on-one, and that's 4 months at a time, and we get together every single week. You've got me through WhatsApp. You've got me pretty high level that way, and then I've got my mastermind that's full of different people. We meet 3 times a month. And then that's all in a Facebook group as well. And then I've got a program called Roadmap to Success. That's just like kind of you can buy that evergreen, and it takes you literally through the process of how do I set a goal? What is a goal? How do I set a goal? And how do I make sure it's something that I actually want to do? And I take you through this whole process of creating a lifestyle is what I really ultimately help my clients do, is create this lifestyle that will support their goals and dreams. And that's what the dreamer's paradigm is. And a lot of people are like, well, what on earth is a paradigm? Well, it's essentially your reality. It's
See,
the
I got
action you
confused
have.
because I thought it had to do with paramotors, so that's how we got you on the show. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Right?
Right.
No, but like a paradigm is like your current reality. It's like your actions, it's your habits, it's the things that you are essentially, it's your belief system. And what the dreamer's paradigm is like you've obviously you're a dreamer or like some type of visionary or somebody that's got like all these ideas and things that they want to do, but like how can you shift into a new paradigm that supports you accomplishing these things that you actually want to do without feeling lost and stuck and like it's so impossible. And that's what I like to call when you start making those shifts into this new lifestyle that's going to support all of those things. That's what I like to call you're stepping into the dreamer's paradigm, where you believe
Mm.
in your goals and your dreams. Because a lot of people sometimes they come to me and they don't even believe in their dreams. And that was like a big part of me. Like I grew up, and I honestly I never had anybody growing up tell me, follow your dreams,
Mm.
ever. So it took a very long time for me as an adult to finally be like, I can follow my dreams and actually believe that I'm actually capable of doing that. I never had anybody until I landed into the coaching world, and the first coach I ever had, I told her this is what I want to do, and she like seen me within that vision. And like I get to do that for my clients now. Like they tell me what they want to do. I don't think they're crazy, because I mean, gosh, I've told people, yeah, I want to be a paramotor pilot, and they're like, what? Michelle, you're crazy. I'm like, no, it's just my goals and dreams are completely different from yours. And that's another thing too. It's like everybody's goals and dreams are completely different
Yeah.
from the next person's too.
I want to show this to you real quick. This is on my phone, but this is Michelle's um, Facebook page, The Dreamer's Paradigm. So you can find that there and follow her there. I'm sure you can also send her a private message as well. But take a look at that. Also, Instagram. What is it on Instagram? Is it your name or is it The Dreamer's Paradigm?
The Dreamer's Paradigm on Instagram, and then on Facebook. If you guys search my name and don't find it, I am so sorry. I have no idea what's going on with Facebook, but like I like talking, and I'll meet people in out in nowhere, and like I'll try and add me on Facebook, and they can't find me. So if you guys come find me on Instagram at the Dreamer's Paradigm, and then I have a link in my bio that will lead you to my Facebook page, so you
Okay.
can add me as a friend there.
Yeah. Slow Days has a question for you. He says, does Michelle do talks at high schools or other places?
You know, I think when I originally, like one of my first really big things that I was like, man, I really want to be a motivational speaker. So if the opportunity ever presents itself, yeah, I will absolutely, because I think that's a huge part of like just me growing up, especially like kids and being in high school. Um, for me, I am like not the 9 to 5 corporate America. So like obviously I'm an entrepreneur now. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think being in high school, you're so prepared. They prepare you so much. Like you got to go to college, you got to get a good job, you got to do this. And in my mind, I never wanted any of that in high school. I was like, I just want to travel and I want to do really cool things. But it's just like in school, they don't teach you that either. So
Hmm.
for me to be that one person that can tell people, I'm just a girl from a really small town, where dreams usually get buried. If I can be that inspiration for people to follow their dreams, then I'm gonna do that.
David, Michelle's offering some really good information. I really I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I think there's some useful stuff there. And when I was younger, I always said, if you want something, you can go out and get it. You just have to believe that you can do it. And I said to my friends, I said, if you want that $1 million house, you can get it. They're like, no way, I'll never get $1 million. I said, if you want it, you can get it. You work for it. You set goals, you can get it.
Yeah.
And they doubted me and doubted me. And I said, that's just your mindset. You're not in the right frame of mind.
Oh, that's such a huge thing too with
Yeah.
goals. I'm not gonna lie. I think along like 2.5 years ago, who I was then, if you would have told me I'd be doing what I am today and doing and wanting to, and like just all of it, I would have laughed in your face. Old me, I used to be a very negative, mean person because like I just hated my life. I was depressed and I was miserable because I wasn't doing what I truly wanted to do. I was letting society and what everybody else around me wanted me to do instead of me doing what I want. And two, mindset with your goals, it's such a huge part of it. Like truly, if you don't believe that you can't do something, it is true. It's so true until you can shift into a mindset that supports what you actually want to do. And that took so much rewiring for me because I grew up, being told, don't, just survive in the world, not thrive. And I'm like, I want to thrive. I want to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
things and your mindset with any goal. And that's something that I really teach is like, I always ask, is this a goal that you believe you can actually achieve? And if they say no, I'm like, okay, cool, great. Let's go back down the hill just a little bit. Where's a smaller goal that we can set? Because when I first got into the goal setting process, I used to not think goals worked, for one, is because I just write them down, and literally I'd write them down make a vision board, and then I would hope some magical woo would happen, and nothing would ever happen simply because, for one, I wasn't taking action, and two, I had no idea what I was doing. Three, I didn't even believe that I could do it, and that's a huge part of it is like,
Terrible mindset too to have. Now you look back,
oh,
it's like it's crazy
and
to have that kind of
yeah, and it's
mindset.
like once you can, yeah, and it's like what I see and what I've seen within my clients and what I've witnessed just in myself is like start with a goal. Like I think the first goal I ever like actually sat down and I put it out in a planner was going to the gym consistently 3 times a week for 90 days. And that was just for me to prove to myself that I could stick to doing something for that long of a time that consistently. And I did it. And that just proved to me what else can I do?
Hmm.
And then it's just like you start with something really small. I don't even care. Some of my clients, I'm like, start telling yourself you're going to drink more water every day or something. Like, what's one goal? And one of my clients was like, I just want to read books more. I want to read more. I'm like, okay, how can we do that? What habit can we create throughout the week of how you can read at least a book in just this one quarter that we're going to work together? And now she's reading all kinds of books because she didn't believe that she could do it. So we have to start somewhere really small so you can start creating that belief and that confidence in yourself first, because at first I didn't believe in myself and I didn't trust myself to follow through with the things that I wanted to do until I did it, and then I was like, oh, what else can I do, what else am I capable of?
It starts to
And
become
then
addicting, when you
it
see yourself achieve these goals.
Hmm.
yeah,
I
and once I kind of got into a groove of it, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna follow all my dreams that I've ever wanted to do,
Yeah.
and here I
I gotta,
am. I'm
I gotta
doing
tell you,
it.
Michelle. Yeah, I told John this. I said I'm not sure how this show's gonna go because this is not a paramotor-based show this week. This is gonna be something completely unique and different from any show that I've seen in the last 3 years. And but we're really getting some great feedback in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people posting up goals that they have. Some of them we're gonna get some more goals here too, and some of them are very very funny. Um, Anthony Peregrino says, where was it? Was this one here? It says, yeah, but more Jerry Maguire. Where was it? There it is. Yeah, this is great. It's a Jerry Maguire moment. It's supposed to be just. It was supposed to be just a mission statement. I want to thank Craig Taylor, who also put up. I'm gonna put it back up here right now too. Yeah, the Instagram for the Dreamers Paradigm link there. I think it kind of runs off, but if you click on it later on after the show, it should take you there as well. So very good. Um, Continue. I kind of cut you off there.
Oh no, I just it's mindset is a huge thing, and I think I've actually had clients with me working with me since January this year, and when they first started working with me, they just didn't have much
Good.
confidence. They didn't know
Good.
how to do what they wanted to do, and like today, they can tell you, I know what I want to do. I know how to do it. I know what to do. If life hits, I always tell my clients, it's like if when life hits you in the face with a sack of bricks, because like life happens.
Mm-hmm.
We have crap that happens, and
Yeah.
it's like they know how to navigate life's lows. They know how to navigate when they're feeling really good, and especially the I actually believe in myself. I believe in my dreams now because I think one of my clients, she said, it's not about like, because I just say I'm a daydreamer, like I visualize what I want in my head, but it's like, how do I get there? And she was like, it's not just like the daydreaming and like fantasizing about it. It's actually being like, oh, ciphering, this is what I really want to do, but like, how do I do it? And now I know how. And that always makes me feel really good to see these people that work with me go from a point where they've got these things that they want to do and they're like, and I always ask, do you actually believe that you can do that? And a lot of times when people first come to me, they either say no because they're just kind of getting on that track of like, I want to do this, but I don't know how. Or they're just like, yeah, I know this is what I want. I just don't know how. And I'm really overwhelmed and I don't know how to make a plan, that's not going to lead me to feeling burnt out. It's
Mm-hmm.
like creating a whole lifestyle that can support what it is that you want to do, whether you work a 9 to 5 or you don't, or the strategies that I use can help businesses and like all of that stuff. It's just like, oh. I just love what I
Yeah, it's
do.
You
very
say like a lifestyle, us as paramotor pilots, we have friends and other people that are interested and do the same things we do. So it becomes the lifestyle we live. Every weekend we want to go out and fly. We get our small groups together, and then we go out and we do what we all love to do. And we all worked hard to
yeah.
get there so we can do that.
That's the thing about you've got what 40, 50 people watching right now. Most of the people are watching the show are paramotor pilots. They had a goal to either run or roll up into the air, and they achieved that goal, which is a crazy goal. And if you tell your friends about it, they think you're nuts for even thinking
Right.
about doing it. But you did it. We got a one of my favorite people to see every week is Hot Buttered Steve. He had the funniest video on his Facebook, and I was you had me laughing so hard. He says, Michelle, I think your dedication towards your current priorities is awesome, and the delayed gratification you'll receive when you achieve your paramotor goal down the road will be amazing. And Steve, thank you as always for that $10 super chat donation. Really appreciate it. So what a great comment from him. You're just getting a ton of people here, just really, really appreciating everything you're saying, and hopefully it's inspiring. So I started asking you before though about this, and as far as like what are the costs involved for having these one-on-one sessions. And by the way, I want to encourage all of you to go to her Facebook page and follow it, because just yesterday, and I told John, I was on the phone with him, and I said, "Oh, it's 2 o'clock. I'm about to miss Michelle's live stream. I got to go on."
That's right. He
And
said that.
so I was able to watch a live stream. It didn't cost me a dime. So when someone does sign up, what kind of costs are involved?
It depends. It just depends. I either have you can work with me one on one where you're my private client. That just depends how long you want to work with me. If you want just like a one-off session, about 137 for an hour. Right now, I'm actually offering free 30-minute goal audit calls. So if you guys come and add me on Facebook, that's where all the action is happening. Majority of the time, I do lives. I have a mastermind that I'm running right now, and usually that's about. I want to always start off working with people inside of my mastermind for 6 months, and I have payment plans,
All right.
and I just want to help. And then the biggest thing too is I have a free Facebook community as a Facebook group called the Dreamers Paradigm,
Mm-hmm.
and I offer so many free trainings in there. I actually just did a free training in there Friday on how to reflect and process on your goals so that you can move into a new month feeling really good and having your feet on the ground and just know what's working and what's not with your goals. Like there's so many freebies that I give away, and then there's always that opportunity if you want to work with me
That's
too.
awesome.
So together.
Uh,
Michelle, I just signed up to your Facebook page,
there you
Michelle.
go. There you got one. So Chief Mora puts this is quite possibly my favorite episode so far. John, that's it. No more paramotor pilots, no more instructors.
No,
We're bringing motivational speakers in
I
each and
love the
every week.
motivation. I do. I was always someone like that. I was always a very highly motivated individual. And this kind of talk, I think we just need more of this. I think this should be taught in schools, and people need, to really focus on, what they want and how to find out what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have been doing what, like, I love my dad, and maybe if he's watching right now, sorry, Dad, I love you. But like, if I would be doing what my dad wanted me to do, I'd be in the Air Force because they'd pay for my college,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Well, that's not terrible, but yeah.
No.
no, it's absolutely not whatsoever. But like for me, I was like, I've never had any desire to go to college. Like I think deep down below, I've always known I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And then over time, I just found out, wow, I'm really good at setting goals and like figuring out
Yeah.
how to make things happen and do things for myself while navigating the ups and downs of life. And like, I'm like, I have to help other people do this because if I felt the way that I did at one point, other people do too. Or they're on that goal setting process, they're after going after the things and they're just like, well, crap, I don't know how to do this now. I don't know how to make a plan. I don't know how to prioritize these things and like navigate it. So then I'm like, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
do.
Michelle, Mark Rogers has a question for you. He says, "Does she have a non-Facebook option? I've removed myself from that platform." Yeah, some people do. Some people are not. They don't want to be a part of Facebook anymore. So how can someone reach you if they don't have Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, and then I'm also on Instagram at the Dreamers Paradigm, and then I do YouTube videos every now and then when I'm like doing adventures. And
What about
by the way,
if
I do a video on my YouTube of my flight with Chris.
yeah? Oh, I want to check that out.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, because my wife went up with Chris, and she's never been the same.
Our landing wasn't so sorry, Chris, but I made that poor guy eat dirt. But I'm gonna let all of you guys watch that video because like I didn't know how to land. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way.
I got a question for Mark. Mark Rogers. If you don't have, let's say Mark doesn't have Instagram either. Is there an email address or anything like that he can reach out to you on?
Yes, absolutely. My email address is Michelle at thedreamersparadigm.com.
Simple enough.
And
Michelle at thedreamersparadigm.com.
if there's a way after this live stream, I can go in the comments and like add every single one of my links so everybody can
Yeah.
find me. I can do that too.
Yeah, we can do that too. Craig Taylor's been putting the Instagram up. John, if you could type in Michelle at the
I
Paradigm.
tried. I didn't know how to spell the end of it.
GM Paradigm.
I'm just kidding.
I want to thank Geriatric PPG who made a $10 super chat donation. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And as always, 50% of the proceeds will be going to Resurgence PPG. By the way, John, I don't know, Craig Taylor obviously isn't on the show right now, but he did stop by and drop off his voice, and he wanted to say something about Resurgence PPG. Would this probably be a good time to do that? Probably yes.
If you can do
Hold
it,
on, let me
David,
see
now's the time.
Hold on, let me find his voice down here. Resurgence PPG is a 501c3 helping to get adaptive veterans up into the air, and we help support their training and get them lodging and food. It's a great cause. ResurgencePPG.com. Check it out.
Good job.
Thank you, Craig Taylor, for leaving that here. Appreciate that. And Craig also put Michelle's email address in there too. So thank you, buddy. I only poke fun at the people I really love, you know? So, oh, Jeff Coyne just gave me a thumbs up on something. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. All right. What else? Hey, we have a wheel here to spin and give away a prize. Is that okay if we do that real quick?
David, I can't believe it's 3
I know.
minutes to 10 o'clock. You were worried that Michelle couldn't fill the hour.
I know.
I like to talk. Sorry, guys.
No.
Talker.
Yeah, I do want to see that video of you. I mean, you told me about that, how you guys went right into the dirt. We got another question here. Let's do this. Mark H., out of curiosity, what is the average age or range that tends to come to her for help? What's your average client age? That's a great question.
Usually between 24, depending, and I'm how old am I? Oh my god. Okay, I'm 26. I always forget how old I am, guys. But I have clients that are way older than me. I have a client that's in her 40s that I work with.
Okay,
So
that's not like over the hill and dead, okay?
Thank you, David.
Good Lord, they're so old at 40.
if they're younger than that, then it's usually because I know. And when I was in my early 20s, I was lost with life and had no idea what I wanted to do. So, but usually in that age range. So regardless.
There you go. So before we spin the wheel too, Michelle, are you going to be at the Dave Purdon or David Purdon, depending on how close you are to the family? Are you going to be at the Dave Purdon fly-in this year?
I am. So anybody that's seen the show today, please come say hi to me because you're the ones that's seeing my face and
Yes.
I'm not seeing your faces. So please come say hi to me.
I've got my tickets already, Michelle. I'll see you there.
There you
Long as David has a place for me to sleep.
Yeah, I got a tent now. I don't have so. Hey, and Craig Taylor, God, I love him. He's actually posting your videos too right now. So after the show, you can go back into the chat. You can click on all these links that Craig is posting. He does such a good job with that tonight and on Thursday nights on Robert's show as well. I miss seeing him on Thursday nights, don't you, John?
I miss him to death. I can't wait to see him this winter.
He lurks. But,
it's the best part of the winter when Greg comes to town.
All right, I'm going to show this wheel here. Let's take a look. Here we go. There's the wheel. So Addison went ahead and put everybody's name in the wheel there. that was on
Good
the
job,
chat.
Addie.
Yeah, she's gone now. She's got her
All right.
$5 and she's off. Don't tell Dave Ruff that I pay her $5. We're gonna spin this wheel, as you can see on the right side there. I gotta move it over a little bit, but there's all the prizes. So if you win, just let me know which prize you'd like, and we'll get that out to you. I owe Chris Fenimore this T-shirt. It's sitting right next to me. I'm so bad I didn't send out this T-shirt. All right, let's spin this wheel. I'll try to hold the phone steady. Let's see who wins tonight. Can you see it okay, Johnny boy?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
All
Just
right.
stop moving your hand around.
I'm trying to. All right.
Okay, and the winner
It's
is.
getting close. Don't type it in.
Oh yeah.
Shelby Slow Days coming up. Will Fly. Could be Will Fly.
Oh.
Could be Will Fly. I think it's Will Fly, which is great. Will Fly. Congratulations, Will Fly. Winner, and all that thing. And
I mean, when I can send it.
oh, just wait.
I'm watching.
All right. So Will Fly, congratulations. And I will go ahead. Just tell me what you want. I think he's going to the fly-in, which is great because that saves me about $5 on postage. I can just bring whatever it is that you'd like to the fly-in. There you go.
That's right. Will be there.
Anthony Peregrino cracks me up. Michelle.
Yes.
Hey. All right. Well, we are almost at. Well, we are at the top. Oh my gosh, we're already at the top of the hour. Yes. So
I'm reading the comments here, but somebody said give Michelle a paramotor.
I saw that.
That's Johnny. That's my buddy.
That's awesome. Very cool. Good, you put it in there too. Oh yes, we've got some very old Barton. No, oh Yankee says so. I bought Yankee and Ripa some bourbon that they can't get anywhere else. So I went into Kentucky and picked up a couple bottles for them. And now Yankee's saying to put his bottle of very old Barton on the prize wheel.
No. He's saying I don't see it in the list? Question mark.
Oh,
He's not saying
right.
give it away.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
All right. Will send me a Facebook Messenger, or if you see something you put in the chat, but send me a Facebook Messenger. It's easier. I'll see that, and I'll make sure I bring that to you. This
Dave,
week.
great guest.
Oh my
I
gosh,
mean,
yeah, Michelle, you lived up to the hype.
What a nice change.
I've been wanting to find somebody. Hey, will you just let me teach me how to kite a wing? Like, come on, just do something. But I'm like a hot buttered Steve. Believe me, anytime I can get my hands on a flight or like anything, I am on it.
Now, time out. There is nothing stopping you from coming up to this area where Chris teaches. If you're in the area, you can join the Predator Paramotor Facebook page. He's always posting where he's at. I try to get there as often as I can. There's plenty of people. This community is such an amazing community of people. They're always willing to help you, and that's one of the things I fell in love with. And you try to reciprocate that also, and that's why the community stays so great. So anytime you want, you come up. We'll go ahead and we'll work on kiting for a while. All right.
Yeah.
Next week, please tune in next week. I'm going to be driving back from the fly-in, but it's such an...
And I'll be flying, but go ahead.
You're going to be, yeah, but you're going to be on the show too, right?
That's right.
This is such an important show. We're going to be talking about safety. I'm hoping Kyle can join us, Kyle Ogilvy. If not, that's okay. But there's been so many accidents. We're going to be talking about a lot of the accidents, what caused them, what could have prevented them, most importantly. Look, and I'll tell everybody this. There's people out there who like me. There's people who don't like me, and that's okay. At the end of the day, whether you like me or not, I just want everybody in our community to go home to their family each and every night, safe with everything that they left the house with. We should all feel that way. We should all be looking out for each other's backs, right, Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so important. So please tune into that. Slow Days, John Duncan says that Michelle needs to come back after her first flight. What do you think, Michelle?
I would love to. I was like, no, you can't just have me on here as a future pilot and not have me back on after I have that initial solo flight all by myself. So.
I'd like you to do this though. I'd like you to journal. I'm sure you already do it. Journal all your goals and what led up to those first flights, and then what continued goals you'll have after that. Although, if you're training with Hobart, he may be teaching you or getting you to get goals of how to do a heli.
No, that's my plan. Like, I just want to learn everything about it. And I've even already got friends and family that's like, you gotta take me up and fly me. And I'm like, wait a minute now. I have to learn how to fly first. And
Yeah.
then, like, I have to actually go get, I think you have to be, like, certified to be
Yeah.
able to take tandems.
I saw
So
that
I'll just hold up here.
comment on your
Hold.
Facebook saying Jim CR120 says, who doesn't like Dave other than the captain? Sorry. But yeah, sorry, that distracted me there. But I saw that comment. There's a lot more. You got to have at least 100 hours under wing before you start doing that. But that's, you know what? That's the beauty. And John told me that long time ago. Enjoy the progression. You don't have to get all the way to the end of the marathon. You can enjoy every little mile in between, right, Johnny?
That's right.
There you go. We are going to go right to the after show, and I'm going to post up the link. So if you want to come in, thank you, everyone. Hey, Dave Ruff's in the chat. What's up, Dave Ruff? I love you, buddy. I didn't know you were lurking. If you want to come in, say hi to John or Michelle. Love to say hi to everybody. And again, if you're driving to a fly-in or driving back from Oshkosh, please drive safely. Like I just said, I want everybody getting home every night and being able to see their families and teaching other people to fly and just support each other in the community. Michelle, thank you so very much for joining us
Thank you,
tonight.
Michelle.
Yeah, and we look forward to talking again after that first flight, as Slow Day said. All right?
Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Thank you. Our pleasure. Go check out her Facebook page or reach out to her on her email. It can only benefit you, right? There you go.
Oh,
All right,
got you.
we're going to head to the after show, guys. Have a great night.